So to put it simply, dialect parody is basically doing an impression or putting on a variety of a language in order to mock that variety for the purposes of humour. Now, I'll wager that everyone here has heard somebody do this, has heard somebody impersonate a dialect of English. Um, it happens all the time. It's an extremely common feature of stand-up comedy, for example. And I think a lot of the time, this type of dialect impression is thought of as just a bit of fun and relatively harmless. And in fact, that's actually what makes it so insidious, is that if you were to question an instance of dialect parody or somebody making fun of an accent, you're very probably going to get told that you have no sense of humor. So in a way, it's quite a safe, um, almost like a protected way to express prejudice because it's very, very popular and very, very common. And you can always accuse people of not having a sense of humor if they don't laugh at your joke. Um, in fact, no variety of English is objectively funny. Um, all varieties of English are combinations of pronunciations, words, grammatical structures that are equally linguistically valid. And people who study language for a living know this, but unfortunately, the myth that some varieties are better than other varieties is deeply, deeply, deeply ingrained in English speaking societies in particular, as Kelly was saying. And dialect parody really reinforces this idea. Um, it's important always to look deeper, look more closely at a piece of dialect parody to ask what's really being made fun of. And often it's not just about making fun of a variety or the way it sounds or the words, it's making fun of speakers of that variety. Um, and what happens there is that stereotypes that are usually crude and harmful are being perpetuated, sometimes in a sort of covert way, and like I said, a sort of safe way that we don't always pay attention to. So think for a moment about the type of character that's being painted when somebody makes fun of a dialect, whether that's words or pronunciation. And 9 times out of 10, especially if it's a so-called non-standard variety, that character has undesirable qualities. They are unintelligent, they may have alcohol addiction, they may be presented as being lazy. And so you start to see this kind of stereotype being attached to a way of speaking that's incredibly dangerous. Now, I have to say, this is not always the case. Of course, there are lots and lots of different types of linguistic performance. People do it for all sorts of different reasons, and there's plenty of sort of nuance that happens. But linguists have found again and again that dialect parody is an easy proxy for race and class based discrimination.